The worst airport nightmares. Bad Pive 3 says, okay, this is not what you were looking for, but here we go. I work at an airport for a major air carrier. One day a few years ago, I walked through the hangar and there is a 757 parked inside with the doors closed. And there are like 5 general managers and a couple of directors in suits staring at the plane. There's a couple of mechanics on the side of it. And then I asked them, what the heck's going on? One of them replies, Pen, cheetahs loose on the plane.
Are you serious? It's the...
What the how does that even happen?
Cheetahs loose on the plane. Like the cheetah girls? Cheetah power?
What had happened was they were transporting 2 cheetahs from a zoo in Oregon to St. Louis.
Of course, this is in St. Louis.
When one of them got free in the cargo hold, the baggage handler goes to open the door and almost loses an arm before he can shut it again. So there we sit, trying to think of a way to get the door open without letting an angry cheetah loose in a confined room. Oh yeah, on top of that, there is a heart on board for transplant.
So that's got to get out of there
Stop!
ASAP. If is it in the cargo hold? The heart as well?
Okay, think of the person that's waiting on the heart.
I thought the hearts normally sit inside the plane with the people.
Yeah, that was like a priority package that someone holds.
Like I thought that just sits inside.
Nah, they didn't pay that priority.
Isn't this in the
package.
cargo hold where like the cheetah is confined in, which is okay? It has zoomies, sure. Also, why do we the only people we have here are like general managers, business people, or like heads of something? Why don't we have like, I don't know, the zoo people here?
Yeah.
Or like a vet.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be pretty quick to get a vet in to dart them.
I think a little syringe would help a lot here.
You can't get close enough for that. That's what they do. They
Sorry,
dart them.
a projectile syringe.
That's what I meant by dart.
We have to get it before the thing gets angry and curious. Eventually, we call the zoo and they the door and tranquilize the poor thing. We cart him off. The heart goes on its way and we all live to tell about it. I have pics somewhere.
That's crazy.
That is the wildest day of work ever.
That's the first story we read?
Yes. And guys, we have more stories just like this. It's a little different than our other stories where we read airport nightmares from you guys and from other people online. So stick with us. I'm Riley.
I'm Keon.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to read crazy stories from airports. And you're here to comment what you think about them. Fun story. We had an emu running free across from our school and the local police department had to shoot it because our buses couldn't run. They had to shoot the emu?
I hope they had tranquilized it. Those things are dinosaurs.
Have you ever seen a guinea?
Like not in person, but like a picture, but I know they're, yeah.
My friend in elementary school had one. He had a couple on his farm. But the coyotes always got to him.
Oh.
Marana May says, I got flagged for a random TSA pat down and the agent asked me if I had any metal in my body. To which I said, I have an IUD. The agent freaks out and starts flagging the other agents over.
Oh, I already know where this is going. He's like, oh my God.
She musters all her calm and says, please repeat that you have an IED on you? To which I had to say, no, I have an IUD, a copper urinary device for birth control. Oh, that's what that means?
Yeah.
She didn't know what an IUD was. I bet she'll remember now. For birth control, they're just implanting bombs to people's arms.
That line from the movie Rush Hour 2 where like they're both Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan are yelling, the bomb. She's the bomb.
Also, resident female doctor, IUDs are not in the arm.
Some are.
That's an implant.
Go up there.
But some, they do have some that
It's
you
a
put in your arm.
different type of birth control.
Okay, well, what's that one called? What's the
implant.
initials for that?
It's an implant.
They just call it implant?
It's something else, but this is obviously not an intrauterine entry.
Abby Skittle says, at the age of 16 in Ethiopia, flight was overbooked and I was volunteered by the airline to take the next flight. 5 days away out of Africa. No money left, no phone or internet, no place to stay, and I don't speak
Amharic?
Amharic? And I don't speak the local language. I had also been living in a little more than a mud hut, so I didn't know how to get back. First time I ever decided to be that customer, but threw a fit at the poor check-in woman and made all the other passengers in line aware that I was only 16 and in this situation. Wasn't getting anywhere until a call came in for me at the check-in desk. It was the pilot of the plane. Some kind of passenger had alerted him to the fact that I was being left alone, and he called to say that if I could get on the plane in 5 minutes, I could sit in his extra chair in the cockpit all the way to Amsterdam. I sprinted, met the pilot, tears all over my face, only to find a woman in a Burberry scarf had decided to give up her seat to take the next flight so that she could spend more time with her son in Ethiopia. Her seat was in first class. Crazy day.
Dang.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
I would not know what to do at 16 in that situation.
A co-pilot without yeah, you can be my co-pilot, but like don't worry about it.
Just don't touch any buttons.
See that big red button? Don't press it.
That's a risk.
I have a crazy airport story. I think I've said it on the stream before. Dakota and I, we know
What?
someone. It's from a friend's perspective.
Oh yeah?
My friend who you may have met.
His name Nick?
No. He went to school in Arizona. There he had a couple pew-pews.
Oh.
He drove home with them. He lives here.
Okay.
But then he was flying back and he forgot that he had a pew-pew in his backpack still.
That is my absolute worst nightmare, even though I never carry one everywhere.
So
Or anywhere. I never even ever carry one.
it's funny because he has it in his backpack. He's going through security and like he takes off all the metal and everything. Sure. And the thing goes, whee! Like we have like to screen you. And he immediately goes, "Oh, F me." He's like, "I know exactly what it is. It's his pew-pew." Listen, guy. And to also add to this some context, he's Persian.
Oh no.
So he just talks to like the TSA and he's like, "So like, can you just throw that away? Can I still go on my flight?" And they go, "No, you're going to jail. It's like one of the biggest illegal things
Can
to
you
bring."
just throw it away?
No. He's like, do I get to go on my flight? Nope, straight to jail. But like, yeah, they did some questioning. He ended up not like really going to jail, but like doing community service. He now like triple checks like everything, like every bag, like take it out. That's my story for him.
Dude.
Great guy, nice guy, lovely guy. He just messed up and he just like forgot because like he was like his normal backpack that he always had it in, and he just forgot. And it wasn't like a big one; it was just like a small one.
Yeah. But still, dude. Whew.
You've probably met him.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Uber Fraser says, I overslept after going on a one-night solo bender after a 20-day business trip in New Orleans and was rushing to get through the
You
airport.
should say that correctly. New Orleans.
No.
New Orleans. With a mighty hangover and no time to spare, I chugged a bottle of water as I power walked to my gate. When I got there, I missed the flight, but they transferred my ticket to another flight, leaving in 8 minutes on the other side of the terminal. Oh gosh.
I hope you're the Flash. Time to sprint.
I ran across the terminal, made the flight just as the folks were getting on, breathing like an ape with COPD and smelling twice as bad. I took my seat right next to a really hot chick.
Guess it's pertinent to the story.
You know, all right. 5 minutes into taxi, I power vomit the water I had just drank into the airsick bag.
Could you imagine just dripping sweat, looking pale, like, I made it. Hot chick next to me. The dream. Hi, excuse me. Sorry that I was like the last person on board, by the way. And just hurling all of that.
Which proceeded to leak all over the floor.
Oh!
I couldn't deal with it because of the seatbelt restrictions. Eventually, a stewardess climbed out and took it with a look of dismay. I fell asleep and snored. Yep, I was that guy.
I've had those encounters where like you just had a rough night and you go to like the airport, you're like you had to wake up really early, get there. Not this bad where you kind of plan. Like I'm always one of those people who I'm never late to the airport.
He's late to everything else but the airport. I'll get to a party an hour late, but I'm going to show up 4 hours before my flight leaves.
It's true.
Sorry, my parents engraved that to me. Both things. That's my dad with the airports and that's my mom with being late.
With the party thing.
Yeah, luckily you made it.
Dude,
Is everyone going to remember that? Probably.
I feel like the cherry on top is a hot chick part.
Wasn't even pertinent to the story.
It being a hot chick doesn't change how just awful that is for anyone sitting
Yeah,
next
way
to
to
it.
at least you didn't like ruin the flight by pooping your pants.
You say that like you've done that.
No, you have you heard about that crazy story?
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
What, pooping?
Where someone had to poop like use the restroom but they couldn't, and because it was like someone was already in the bathroom on the plane while it's in the air, someone pooped their pants and they had to ground the flight because it was so bad.
Well, flights are just Airbuses in my opinion.
See, Megan Ryan understands.
The whole flight sucked, but at least there was a hot chick. Yeah, right. Hello, hot chick. So, Firefall says, 2010, I took a job that required me to travel all over from Korea, Japan to Europe from Washington, D.C. My first overseas trip was to Hawaii and have never been there before. I was super excited. Connecting flight was in Salt Lake, minimum layover, and we boarded without incident. I had a window seat next to a quiet Japanese man who also seemed to be traveling for business. The plane departed without incident. About 30 minutes into the flight, the worst odor I have ever had the displeasure of smelling crept through the cabin.
Do we think someone either A, pooped their pants, or B, have smelly food on them?
C,
Ooh.
sitting behind Dakota.
Everyone, type your letter right now. A, B, or C.
So A,
Is sitting behind Dakota that bad?
ask her.
You nonstop farted.
I can believe it.
This was the flight to Bali. You don't remember this?
I wasn't behind him.
I know. I was the only one.
Where is it? Sorry, Carly. It was painfully obvious that this stench was permeating as people started jousting in their seats and looking about. Japanese man looked up for the first time from his book, looked at me, and gave me that god-awful smell coming from you look. Quickly shook my head no, and we both, as if planned, proceeded to lift the collars of our shirt and cover our noses. It was effing terrible. The stench was not something you got used to smelling. Finally, the flight attendants got around to our row with the food and drink cart. The attendant looked like she hit an invisible wall, and her face went from jolly to not so jolly in 0 seconds. She started looking around, wondering where the putrid odor was coming from. This was the final straw for the man and the father combo, directly behind me. The son, mid-40s, 50s, finally realized that he wasn't going to be able to pretend the smell was coming from anyone other than this 80s father anymore. They both got up in unison, put their hands up in defense, and apologized to no one in particular.
Oh, okay.
The son helped his dad get situated in the aisle and prepare for the journey back to the bathroom. The old man had crapped his pants.
Oh my gosh, it was poopy. Someone pooped their pants. Someone pooped their pants.
He was just letting him sit in his own poop.
Well, I don't think he knew. Maybe because his father's older.
He stood up right away and knew that it was coming from his dad.
Listen, I'm just saying some people sometimes think it's gotta be a fart, sometimes a toot.
No, I know. I'm just saying we didn't check.
He had unleashed a flood of diarrhea
Oh.
all over himself, and it was dripping down the seats into the floorboard and had run all over
It's cruising
as it
altitude.
pain and turned into approach its cruising altitude.
Is this the flight?
I was wondering.
Is this the
No,
flight?
I thought it was a girl.
It was a girl, you're right. But still, this is very similar to what I was literally just talking about.
Can you imagine you pick your bag up, your carry-on at the
Don't
end of
even
your
say that.
flight,
Don't even
and
say
it's
that.
covered
Don't even.
in
No,
diarrhea?
No, stop. I don't want to. It's getting too graphic. La 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 la.
No.
That's getting. You guys are baby.
Google Gaga.
Dude, when he stood up, it was like getting hit in the face by a bat. The already absolutely disgusting odor got 10 times more potent.
You want me to read the rest of this?
It was so effing bad. About 25 people, myself included, got up from our seats and walked up into the next section of seating. We couldn't stand it at all. Drink and food service was temporarily suspended, and the poor flight crew spent about an hour and a half cleaning up the mess, changing cushions, vacuuming, and hosing the area down with some deodorizer.
I've never experienced something that bad. Like, I've experienced, like, babies, like, and it happens. Like, babies do that because you have to change the diaper.
Yeah, it's a baby.
Oh, this is an old man,
This is an older baby.
older baby.
I feel bad for them, but, like, also, I feel bad for OP and everyone else in that area.
We returned to our seats, and the in-flight services resumed. The dad and son poo combo didn't return to their seats for another 20 minutes. He was changed and seemed everything was going to be okay. It was at this time the smell came back again.
No!
The old man had shat himself again.
No!
The entire effing process repeated itself again. The entire effing process repeated itself again. Ah!
RIP to our listeners.
No. His new seat is in the toilet. He has to stay in there the rest of the flight. All of this happened within the first 3 hours of an almost 8-hour flight. It was my first experience in any flight this long, and it was by far the worst experience I have ever had in any form of public transport.
He literally said, wow, I'm so happy we cleaned that all up. Everything's clean. Let me ruin that for you one more time. At least you know how to, at least you can do it quicker again. You can do this quicker. You know what you're doing.
At least you'll probably never have a flight that bad again.
I'm going to need a second. Oh my
I can read the rest.
gosh.
I can read the next.
No, I'll be...
That's gross. He's going to go do what that, not once, but twice. In probably a span of, it seemed like 20 minutes.
I think it said it took them like an hour and a half to clean it, didn't it?
They said they returned, like, oh, maybe they were still in the back for 20 minutes. But even then, even with like an 8-hour flight and this happens twice within 3 hours. Oh boy. I would be
The
like,
flight crew spent an hour and a half cleaning up the mess, and then the son returned another 20 minutes later. I have terrible luck on planes, but nothing this crazy.
I'm trying to think of like anything that I've experienced that is pretty bad.
I had a kid in front of me on a flight about 2 years ago, kept like reaching back to like grab my leg or like anything that I was holding or like going
kid
for
was?
my bag. Yeah.
Like how, like an infant.
I don't know, like 3.
Okay.
I have a picture of her at the end of the flight where she pushed my bag out from under my seat and was crawling under into my seat.
That's kind of cute.
No, it was not cute.
Oh.
This was a red eye.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
This was a 6-hour red eye back to Jersey. She kept me up all night doing that and then proceeded to push my bag out of the way and play. She wasn't cute.
Oh.
Well,
I always have good luck with kids on flights because they're like sitting in front of me and I always just play peekaboo with them.
Well, this one would have touched your knee for 6 hours straight.
I've been like, excuse me, ma'am.
Nope, didn't listen. Didn't talk to me. Parents would not acknowledge me.
I would have been like, excuse me, stewardess.
take this monkey away.
This little one over here needs to stop.
I recently had a person who I'm pretty sure was on heavy substances sitting next to me. We had the middle seat empty. I was so excited. There was no kids around me. It was going to be the best flight ever. She laid down and eventually scooted so far up that her head was on my lap. And no matter how much I pushed her or got a flight attendant or anything, she would not sit up. She would not move. Her legs were hanging out into the aisle onto the person across the aisle. And they kept coming over because they'd be like, we're going to land soon. You need to sit up. And she wouldn't. Was not comprehending a thing.
You made a friend.
The stewardesses all thought that I was with her for a while. We were friends. And I was like, I don't know this lady.
But guys, we got another freaking story right now. Andy's cat says, during the vids restriction times, nobody could fly unless you had a good reason. I was flying back from the US to the UK because my dad was passing away. In order to fly, you had to have the vid negative certificate that was dated within 48 hours of your flight takeoff time. Testing was not local at that point, and the logistics were a nightmare. Anyway, I turn up at Chicago, 6-hour journeys from home, clutching my certificate, only to find out at the gate that the certificate was incorrectly dated and they wouldn't let me board. I rang the laboratory in California and explained my dire predicament. Boarding had almost finished for my flight. The lab tech I spoke with went above and beyond to help me and messaged me a corrected vid certificate. I was literally last into my flight and we took off minutes after I was seated. I just made it back in time with my dad to say goodbyes. I've never been so stressed. That is clutch right there.
I did work in the airline industry for a little bit and I did deal with this.
Yeah.
Where we just got emails, calls, everything, because especially during this time, also say it was a Japanese airline. So restrictions, especially for Japan, were so intense. And I got emails, literally the situation. I have, my parent is passing away or a loved one is passing away. I need to go home. It's really hard. I would say OP is extremely lucky that one, he was able to contact the lab that quick and they updated it so fast.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have that, they're not letting you on, no matter what. They don't care. You can give them, you're like, this is life or death situation. They don't care. It's it's just the restrictions. The amount of things that I had to say, oh, I can't do anything to help you. I'm so sorry, to the most intense things I've ever heard of. I feel so bad. I can't help you. I'm so sorry. It's just one of those things. It does suck.
Nate 23/7 says, plane shot by lightning.
What?
Scary as F, dropped a little, screamed like a witch.
This happened to me once.
Stop it, shut up, nuh-uh.
Yeah, huh?
When?
Around the time of the vid. I was on a short 2-hour flight and we were over a big lake and we got struck and you can see it. It has a thing to kind of reroute the lightning off of the plane, but you could tell that something went wrong, and I had a window seat and I was watching it and we kind of just went really fast, and I was looking out the window. I was like, I think we just got struck by lightning, and then they confirmed.
That's crazy.
I told you I have
look at
weird
me.
plane
I wasn't
luck.
on that flight.
No, Keon wasn't. I didn't live here yet.
I thought you get hit by lightning and you're done.
No, they have stuff to reroute it.
They have a conductor. It's crazy.
It was I was that was either really close to us or that just fully hit us and floomed off of us.
Damsel says, I had a middle seat on this flight, which always sucks, but in this case, it really sucked. When I got to my seat, the window seat was taken by this quiet, shy guy who I just acknowledged with a small smile before taking my own seat. Then this lady comes on board. While I'm not a skinny woman, this woman obviously was large enough to need 2 seats.
Oh no.
On top of that, she had a crying, fussy toddler with her that was traveling as a lap child.
Oh, double no.
In order to accommodate this lady, I was practically sitting on shy guy's lap, and we just kept looking at each other with wide eyes as a woman tried to get settled. After the stewardess got her a seatbelt extender, she hands her kid over to me and this guy without a word. I think we were both too shocked to do anything but stare at this blubbering child. Just handing your child over to a stranger? It might have been different if she had asked, or if she only had done it to get her seatbelt on. But throughout the flight, she kept trying to hand this kid over to us.
Nah, that's crazy. Hey, just hold him for the entire flight.
It was the most uncomfortable flight ever.
The stewardess couldn't help you like switch seats or swap seats?
Does the stewardess not have a daycare on board?
What's the airline industry doing?
You're the one that worked for it.
And that's why I'm asking it. And why do you think I'm not there anymore?
That's not why.
On-flight childcare. That'd solve a lot of problems. They just take them to the cargo. They just take them to the cargo and say, hang out.
I was like, yeah, you're going in the right direction. Wrong direction.
It's all the double-decker planes. They come back and the upstairs is just open daycare, run around.
Dude, open daycare run around with a little like slide and play area.
Yeah, except for the fact that you need seatbelts, so that really wouldn't
I
work.
would just say good luck to anybody who's up there.
On the eve of war, says, I was 20 years old and headed to Spain from California to study abroad for 6 months.
Is this me?
I had never been out of the country, so I was nervous but really excited. My flight was from San Francisco to London, where I was catching another flight into Madrid. Flight out of SF gets heavily delayed, and I realize there's no way I'm going to make my second flight. I land in London, grab another flight to Madrid. I land in Madrid around 9 p.m. Go get my suitcase, and it's lost.
Oh boy, because it's probably because your first initial flight, it transferred your, oh boy, I hope not, but.
I only had a backpack with me that had some assorted items. They tell me they will send my bag to me in
Sevilla,
where I was staying. So I rushed to the train station and literally watched the last train leave the station for Sevilla, where I was meeting up with my program at a hotel. So it's midnight and I'm at a train station, my first time outside of the country with no bags, no cell phones, and nowhere to stay. I tried calling my family, but couldn't even operate the payphones. Directions were in Spanish, and I didn't know how to dial internationally, etc.
I had some people in my study abroad program like this. Like that was their first time out of the country. They have no idea. There was a
Stop it.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like
We're not all as cool as you, Keon.
The only times I've ever been out of the country is with OK Storytime.
it's kind of crazy, right? Now imagine doing it by yourself and no one there to really help you. That's what Opie's going through.
Yeah, for the first time, no.
Yeah, when you travel, it's crazy. If you're traveling for the first time to another place, it's good to make sure you have, I guess, a backup plan.
Yeah.
It's probably the most stressful 24 hours OP's ever experienced.
Only way to do that is by learning.
Yeah.
My parents got contacted by the program because I hadn't shown up. My parents freaked out. I sat on a bench and waited until the next morning to catch a train at around 7 a.m. I contacted my parents once I got to Sevilla. My suitcase showed up a week later. It was extremely stressful 48 hours.
Yeah, I know exactly that pain. Like, not personally, but for friends that you can tell it was not fun. But this is an experience that, you know, when you do go to another country in the future, how to prepare, what to do, what you need, just in case.
If I really want to study abroad, I'm just going to find the closest house to me, figure out how to say, will you host me? And until someone hosts me, I will get a job with them, work with them, and then I would just immerse myself into that. I would just infiltrate some family's life.
Yeah, that's what I did for study abroad, pretty much.
Yeah?
The program helped you stay with, like, people there. Like, it was a small town where I was staying, but pretty much I had a study abroad mom and a study abroad brother. Shout out to them.
Oh, wow.
They were cool.
Did you have to call them mom and dad?
I called them by their names, but they treated me like I was their son. Like, she would always cook me meals and check on me and text me, and they were very sweet. And I had a friend who one of his buddies went the next semester, and she was his mom, and she talked about me the entire time.
Stop it.
Yeah.
What would you do for her? Nothing?
No, I was just very sweet. I was a good just kid.
He's a good boy.
I'm a good boy. I would come home late, but in Spain, coming home late was like 5 a.m. anyway, and she was used to it. But I also got her gifts and like treated them to like dinner and stuff.
Oh, cute.
I was,
good guy.
Montserrat. Shout out to Montserrat if you're out there listening. She was a great homestay mom.
I'm gonna go stay with her now.
User Velerin says, our family booked a cruise departing on August 16th, 2015. We were flying out of Reagan that morning to catch the ship in Fort Lauderdale by 5 p.m. The day before, an update to the FAA's ERAM system led to most flights along the East Coast being canceled. So we show up Sunday morning for our 10 a.m.-ish flight at about 7 in the morning to find thousands of people at Reagan on standby, and spent nearly the entire 3 hours before our flight just trying to make our way through ticketing, through security, and getting to the terminal.
Stop it.
By the time we arrived, they'd already given our tickets away.
What? You can't do that?
Well, they did.
If you don't check in, they can.
That's why you always check in before your flight.
Really?
Yeah, just to make,
Sometimes I check in on the way to the flight.
Oh.
Because it also helps you get seats and everything if you don't have assigned seats.
Okay.
So we were in a position where our luggage made the flight, but We didn't. And because there were so many people on standby, we couldn't find another flight to make it to the ship on time. After about another 6 hours or so of running from one side of the airport to the other to try and get on a flight to somewhere in Florida, we did eventually get a flight to Miami that landed around 6 p.m. We got to see our ship sailing away as we came down for landing.
No, stop.
We rented a van, drove up, and got our luggage. Drove through the night to Atlanta to get expedited passports so we could fly from Atlanta to Puerto Rico and catch the ship there. That whole situation was a nightmare. We don't fly the day of a cruise anymore.
Dude,
I was going to say.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
You got to plan when you travel, like if things happen or like delays.
Yeah.
Or like a weather delay or airport delay or airplane delay. Something along those lines, you have enough space to map it out. That's why like whenever I see like a layover, if it's an hour, I'm like, that's cutting it too close. You never know what's gonna happen.
Dude, Tate's flight got delayed an hour last night.
At LAX? Shocking. But he didn't have like a layover flight, did he? It was
No,
just a direct? Oh, good. Okay.
Nonstop.
We fly in the day before and stay in a hotel. Smart. Again, this sounds like a lot of like experience.
Yeah, no, that don't do that.
I'm confused about the passport part.
Well, I guess they had a cruise at like different places.
Right. So wouldn't you have already needed that passport? You don't need a passport on a cruise?
Tate went on a cruise to different places and he didn't need a passport.
You need a passport to go to Puerto Rico?
We went to Mexico and like things like that and didn't need a passport.
I know, but these guys went to Puerto Rico.
Probably to fly.
Yeah.
Because that's where the cruise is probably going. And I think the cruise ship, you don't need your passport.
I know. I was asking if you needed one to fly into a territory.
Oh, yeah. Let us know your craziest travel stories in the comments, guys.
You want to know what I found?
What did you find?
The flight that I had over the summer when I was coming back from the 4th of July and the kid was screaming really loud.
Sure. Is he saying La Boo Boo?
No, he's just screaming.
Sounds like saying La Boo Boo.
He's saying no, but he sounds like the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, sounds like a little dog yapping.
And he did not stop.
Aw.
Yeah, see, Danny Cole, we're on the same wavelength. Okay, so you don't need a passport for it.
Maybe the cruise is going to other islands.
Right, but then you would have had one ahead of time.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, I don't get why you had to go back to Atlanta to fix something with a passport to fly to Puerto Rico where you shouldn't need a passport if you didn't already need one for the rest of the ports on the cruise.
When it comes to traveling, you need to know, like...
Did you see they just changed, you now need a real ID?
Yeah, I have that.
No, I know, but they officially finally set it in after years of saying that they would.
Because it was supposed to happen like 2019.
But yeah, but if you don't have one, you pay like $45 and they just background check you.
Really?
Yeah.
User I have no comment says, I was finally leaving the Middle East after having been deployed since the war started. We were going to fly from the Persian Gulf to Cyprus, then on to Shannon, Ireland, then Bangor, Maine, and finally touched down at McConnell AFB in Wichita, Kansas.
Oh.
Several hours go by on a flight to Cyprus. We land and sit there for an hour. We're all antsy because we want to get home. The captain of the civilian chartered jet we were on comes out and lets us know that since we were in uniform, the locals didn't want us to deplane.
Wait, what?
I mean, if this is during like war.
Come on, guys. You ever seen a guy in uniform before?
We sat on the effing tarmac for 2 hours after flying in from the Middle East because they didn't want to look at us. Anyway, we finally take off and head to Shannon, Ireland. We land and they let us off the plane. Only thing is, we're in a terminal with no one but us in it. They posted an Irish cop at the door making sure none of us would leave the terminal. They even had Irish cops with what looked like pew-pews walking around our jet on the tarmac.
Dude, what? They really do be walking around with those. When I was in France, they were walking around with those.
When you're in the Philippines, bro, you see people...
Oh my God, I was shocked.
Yeah, me too. I was like, you can walk around with that thing?
At your mom's birthday, the one security guard.
Yeah.
I remember I looked at Keon and I was like, does he have just like a pew-pew?
He had like 3 on him. I guess there had been threats to the troops passing through. Anyway, I go to the bar that they had open for us. I'm like, F it. I'm in Ireland. I'm gonna have a Guinness. I'm gonna split that G.
Do it.
Bartender says, sorry, no Guinness.
Hmm.
I couldn't effing believe it. He tells me that they have Budweiser. Whatever.
Oh my God.
Taste of home. We hop back on the plane and head to Bangor. I'm stoked. It's like midnight. But there are a bunch of Americans with little flags hugging us and high-fiving us as we walk off the jet. Well, most of us anyway. One dude got so wasted on liquor that he bought in Ireland that he lost his shirt and the chief wouldn't let him deplane. So I walk through the crowd and make my way to the open gift shop. F it. I like how Obi's just like, F it.
F it. I'm in X place. I'm going to do X.
I'm so stoked to go home. Nothing gonna stop this. F it. I'm in Bangor, Maine. And if you're not going to buy a lobster, there's only one other souvenir choice. I look around the gift shop for a Stephen King book. Crazy enough? None.
No.
F this. I'm done. We fly back to Wichita, kiss the ground. I make love to my wife, see my sleeping 6-month-old daughter, and guess what? Wichita has Stephen King books and Guinness. I guess home is where the heart is.
That's all you need.
And everything else in between.
Anyone that lives in Kansas, I do not know why.
Have you been to Kansas?
Yeah.
No, but I can imagine what it is.
There's not
I've
much
been to Oklahoma. That feels like Kansas.
I've never been to Oklahoma, but I've been to Kansas. Just remember it being real hot
And flat.
and flat.
Dude, I've been to Madison,
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. That was a very beautiful capital.
A lot of people are like, ew, don't kiss Wichita. Wichita sucks, not gonna lie.
People hate Wichita. They got a good basketball team some years.
Well, we have more stories here. User Drivin' Stone says, I have a horrible story with a good ending.
Oh.
I was on a business trip that took me to LA for the day, then off to Seattle. I had very little time between my last meeting in LA and my flight. I was flying through security as fast as I could to make the flight, and so just tossed my watch and phone in the bin with my shoes instead of putting them in my bag, which I normally do. The watch was a Rolex. Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
I had received as an award for some quality work I had done. Bin comes out of the x-ray, watch is gone, no watch.
What?
TSA was their glorious self and said nothing they could do. File a lost item report, blah, blah, blah.
Stop. No.
Also sounds like LAX, my guy.
They do that?
LAX sucks. I've traveled to so many places, not to just like toot my own horn. LAX is my least favorite airport in the world.
What about the one in Boston?
Never been to Boston. I also know JFK is pretty intense. LGA in New York,
Yeah, but that's why you just go to.
or Newark as well, EWR. Been to those, totally fine. No stress. LAX, every time I just dread it. Dreading going in, dreading getting out, going through security.
Getting in's the worst.
It's a maze.
I like the Philly one.
So, and I had to run. I was sick to my stomach as I had an emotional attachment to the watch, and I never dropped that kind of money on a watch, and now it was gone. I filed the report with Lost and Found the next day by email and get a form response. We will only contact you if we find your item. Where did this watch go?
X-ray thing? That's crazy. Someone definitely picked it up.
4 weeks later, I get a call. It's the TSA, and they say, did you file a missing item report? Yep, got my watch back. Nice. Next day, I'm telling the story to my coworker, and he just starts laughing. He had just read a story online about a TSA agent fired and arrested for stealing stuff as it went through the x-ray.
Stop it. No.
These days, I have global entry and security. Takes 30 seconds, just like it should. And that's the end of that
Dang.
story.
Should I get global entry now?
I mean, you see those people walk by, and you're like, they don't have, like, it's just like 30 seconds in and out.
I have my pre-check and I love it.
I think I should. I am on a plane like 4 to 5 times a year.
I got it as soon as I moved here, and I knew I'd have to travel home a lot.
Yeah.
A little bit. It's around $100, I think, for 10 years.
I'm a patient man. I also get to the airport 4 hours early.
Yeah, but
so
I can keep my shoes on and my laptop in my bag.
Yeah.
imagine that when we're traveling.
Oh, that would be so nice. You know how many laptops I stuff in my suitcase?
Well, I don't know if it works internationally.
Ah.
Does it?
They should. It should.
All right, another story. User Besmirched Smirker says, this went from being worst experience to a not so bad one, if that counts. I was flying by myself for the first time in 10th grade to visit my friend in Colorado and had randomly purchased mushrooms on a whim for the first time the night before. Look at you go. I had found a nice hiding place for them so I could experiment when I returned. When I realized that my outrageously nosy mom is going to thoroughly search my room when I'm in Colorado and find those shrooms.
Oh no.
I figured that eating the entire 8th at 2 a.m. was the only logical solution.
Why would you do that?
Just like everyone's experience for the first time when you're like, I don't feel it. Get me to the hospital. Either these shrooms are bunk or people are wussies. I thought for 30 minutes until my desk chair turned into a dark overcoat-clad burglar staring straight at me. I spent the next 3 hours holding myself, rocking back and forth saying, I am my best friend, until it was time to have my mom drive me to the airport. Luckily, my mom attributed my erratic behavior and gigantic pupils to exhaustion, and I made it on the plane, albeit with profound assistance from another passenger and benevolent airline employees. Needless to say, the takeoff and any insignificant turbulence convinced me I was going to pass away. I was white-knuckle grasping the armrest and breathing like oxygen was going out of fashion. Was seconds from grabbing a stewardess and spilling my guts to her about the boomers and everything, so she would kindly let me off the plane, because that's a simple procedure when you're flying at 35,000 feet over the Appalachian Mountains.
Lovely.
When the dude next to me puts his hand on my wrist and says, hey man, everything's gonna be all right. I hadn't even noticed him till then. hope he's freaking out already. The dude takes off the sunglasses he was wearing, which should have been a sign to reveal the kindest, most beneficent bloodshot stoner eyes I've ever seen. He's at least 10 years my senior, but this long-haired surfer dude proceeds to calmly tell me about the waves he's going to catch in Cali, the girls out there, the weather, etc. Totally talks me off the ledge and saves my effing life.
Heck,
Thank you, random surfer dude.
dude, that's the surfer dudes in California if I've ever met
He was
one.
your totem. He was like, I know this situation. I know exactly what this guy's
bro,
going through.
I've been here before. Bartolo the Hun says, so here I am flying to Guam. We have a short layover in Tokyo at
Narita.
Narita International. I come off the plane hungry as F. I weigh my options on where there is to eat and decide McDonald's is my safe choice. Get some chicken nuggies and some fries along with a weird soda that was not even remotely good. Approximately 1 hour later, the seismic activity emanating from my bowels cannot be ignored. I frantically search for a restroom, rather difficult at the time. I finally find a restroom. It's mega crowded. I'm surprised they didn't have some train stuffer dudes up in that piece. There is one stall opening. I rush in, but to my dismay, it is one of those squat toilets that looks like a urinal turned sideways on the floor. I was quite confused, but I drop my pants and proceed to do the deed. I didn't face the right direction in my frantic need to evacuate the contents of my bowels. I grasped widely at anything that seemed like it could support me. I end up holding on to something that you put your kid on to watch you during this effed up experience. You're weird, Japan.
Nah, OP, you're weird. That's a crazy thing to say.
I had the worst squirts of my life.
Oh, wow.
Speaking of squirt,
Oh my gosh. I sprayed the entirety of the so-called toilet and some of the surrounding area with my
Ew, dude.
feces.
So gross.
And yeah, no play-by-play is needed here. I hear Japanese dudes probably talking crap about me for taking so long, but I have to wipe up all the crap in the stall before I came out. This was the worst experience with dropping deuce I have ever had. TLDR, Asian toilets really effing suck.
Shut up. I hate that. Because these toilets don't accommodate to me and my needs?
So can you poop in those?
Yeah, also, Japanese toilets are usually the best toilets in the world. Those are like the automated, like, it has everything. Like, seat warmer. There's like 40 different things you can do with that. Yeah, they're robots.
Whoa.
Especially in Narita. Narita is one of the best airports in the world.
Joining in says, my family and I are traveling back from Mombasa, Kenya to Europe. We have to get a flight in Mombasa to
Nairobi.
then spend 6 hours in Nairobi before catching a long flight home. Sounds pretty easy. The flight we were meant to take in
Mombasa.
was over 5 hours late. It was night by the time our flight was ready. And for some reason,
Mombasa.
Airport had an open roof. So in this malaria-infested region, we were getting eaten alive by those mosquitoes once we had packed away our repellents.
Oh.
We all get excited and manage to drag ourselves outside a torpor we'd slowly been settling into before realizing that not only our flight was ready to be boarded, but the next flight to Nairobi was also as well. Huge panic, people getting on the wrong plane and then refusing to get off. My dad is starting to get tense as he realizes he potentially will have to dish out about $15K to get us back home. The flights from Nairobi to Paris and then another connection we need plus a night in Nairobi. The plane finally takes off. We arrive in Nairobi as my father tells my mother and little sister to basically make a run for the check-in as my brother, father, and I pick up the luggage. We were hoping they could at least get on the plane, but the check-in was closed.
The worst nightmare. The nightmare's only getting worse. Nightmare.
You might have malaria by this point too.
I hope not.
I have my good pastor friend in Tennessee. He got bit by a mosquito and got malaria and started having a stroke and stuff.
What?
He visited Africa and
Don't you have to take like a shot?
You do, yeah. He took all that stuff, but I think
It's still like it just because his body
something
was
happened.
not used to it.
It's crazy, but he's good now.
Oh, good.
And then he had a stroke, but it was only when he was talking. It was like only in the back left corner of his mouth.
I hope he's okay.
He's good now.
Okay, great.
Yeah, some crazy stuff happened where he was healed and everything. Crazy story.
for the last story, if you do have to poop, how do you have to sit on the ground?
Yeah, explain that.
Is that a urinal?
That's the Japanese floor toilets that he was talking about.
I'm seeing him go back first, slide, grass.
He's
With
laying
legs.
on the ground.
So we're going missionary here.
Oh, no, reverse cowgirl.
How are you reverse cowgirling that?
Missionary?
Yeah, he's on the back. He's on his back.
Yeah, but still, no, I think reverse cowgirl in this scenario.
No, that's definitely missionary. Slide butt to that. Like you're on your back, you're laying
No,
down.
That's weird.
Legs are straddling.
You squat.
This is a Japanese style squat toilet.
I don't think some people can squat, though.
Yeah, squatting to do that?
Poor American bodies would not be able to squat that.
That guy had to.
If I was in a dire situation, I'm doing it.
Sure.
Listen, the Philippines, they don't have, like, it doesn't flush.
It's true.
You have to make the whirlpool yourself.
And they did not like
Not
when
with
you
your
had to
hand.
ask
No, you
questions
have like a
about
little
it.
thing.
You have a cup with water.
You have a little cup of water and you pour it in to make a, yeah.
No one explained to me, and I tried to ask the lady, and she got mad that I didn't know how.
Anyways, back to this story. Fortunately, the check-in lady ignored the rules, checked in my mother and sister and the three of us, who were now running across the airport, clasping onto the hope that this flight was delayed too. In the end, we just sailed through check-in thanks to this lovely lady who let us skip the line and had agreed to check us in before seeing our passports. So sweltering and panting, we boarded the flight home and none of us got malaria.
Nice.
Great holiday. I recommend going to Kenya, one of the most beautiful places I have ever been to.
Yeah.
Dude, that's too close for comfort.
I'm trying to think if I have another crazy story that I
have
done
a
on my
crazy
travels.
story.
I have some crazy travel stories, but with airports especially.
Also, 678, I hope you were doing well. When I went to go see my brother graduate in Tennessee, I had a suitcase.
Oh, I remember this, yes.
And I was like, I sat in the back and I had to put my suitcase in the front because I was like, I'm one of the last people to board. But when I did that, put it up to the front. And as I was getting close to it, I couldn't find it. Could not find my suitcase. And I was like, dude, what happened? And so I get there and I'm like, hey, where's my suitcase? They're like, what? Where's your suitcase? I don't know. And I'm like, where's my suitcase? They're like, we'll check the flight. They check it. There's another blue suitcase. It wasn't mine. And my flight was leaving in like 20 minutes in like another terminal. And I was like, and they're like, the best we can do is like call over the intercom and be like, hey, check, make sure your bags are yours. And I was like, I don't have time for that. I have to leave. So then I leave, go to the terminal. Turns out that's not the place. Go check the big board. The board was still in my gate, like 2 gates over. And then I get there, they're gone. And I like start crying and I had to like get myself ready
Compose
in the
yourself,
bathroom.
yeah.
And then I was like, how can I get back home? I got a middle seat back to Tennessee. Yeah, I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, could you bring me like some underwear and some stuff?
Yeah, no, that does suck. As long as it was like clothes, you can always be replaced for the most part. I know it does suck, but like be thankful like it wasn't your phone or like your passport.
Or my computer. I would have cried if it was my computer.
Exactly. Like that stuff like that happens. I think it's like one of the first rules I do with traveling is like always just keep an eye on your stuff. Like don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can you just watch my bag for like a second? Don't even do that because you cannot trust anybody unless if it's just like people that you're traveling with. But if it's like a random stranger,
Oh my god, yeah, like that dude on the way back from the Philippines.
yeah,
Random dude just leaves all his stuff with us, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable watching your stuff.
he was gone for the entire time. He was
The
gone for like 2
whole layover.
hours, and we were like, he just left his stuff here. I don't know this man. I'm not your friend. Like, I'm not even your acquaintance. I just know you're traveling to LA back home with us.
He
Like,
was weird.
sure, I'll sit here, but like I'm not liable for your stuff.
He would not stop talking to us.
So we got another one. Slim Jim 72 says, oh wow, this story is how American Airlines poor planning and even worse customer service almost caused me to miss my own wedding.
Wait, go back to the first sentence. Was it American Airlines' poor planning or your poor planning?
American Airlines.
Okay.
So I live in Florida now, but am originally from Rochester, New York, as is my wife. My wife is a school teacher and I'm in sales. She gets a lot more time off than I do. We decided to get married a few days after Christmas so we could save on not having to travel home twice that year. She went to New York a week earlier than me, and I was slated to travel home a few days before Christmas. I left Florida fine, and the weather report up north seemed mild, so I didn't anticipate any trouble. I did have a brief layover in Philadelphia, but I travel a lot, so I know the Philly airport pretty well.
Woo.
I arrived in Philly and hurried off the plane to go to my connection gate, expecting to be boarding. It was not. I was informed that it would be delayed an half hour. Another half hour later, they announced that it would be delayed another half hour. And a half hour then an additional 2 hours after that, for a total of 4 hours. By this time, it was getting late, and I knew I was in jeopardy of having my flight canceled altogether. Shortly after midnight, after waiting about 5 hours, they announced that the flight was canceled without any additional instructions. People began bombarding the ticket counter. I hopped in with what I hoped was a line, Called my wife, fiance at the time. She began crying hysterically, concerned that I would miss Christmas and the wedding, which were both still a few days away. I calmed her down and assured her that that was ridiculous. Okay, if you're stuck here, can't you just get a car and drive there?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's because they're just going. Was it going from New York to?
So he's in Florida going to Philly, Philly to New York.
But he's already in Philly.
Yeah, at that point, if it's really dire,
It's like 5 hours at that point, maybe.
planes, trains, automobiles.
Potentially even less.
Yeah,
That could even be as low as like 2.
2 hours?
Depends where he's going. Well, he said where he was going.
Rochester.
Rochester, yeah, that's like 5 at least.
Yeah, you could rent a car if you really need to.
I feel bad for whoever's at the ticketing counter because it's not their fault, but they're about to get barraged by angry people.
Yeah.
Ah.
I'm trying to see when their wedding is.
They just said it was a few days later.
And he's leaving a few days before. Dude, you're fine.
Yeah, why are we why are we stressing out so
She
much
doesn't
when
want to
you're
miss Christmas.
but you're still a state over. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If Kevin McAllister can travel New York by himself, so can you. It's over.
I waited in line for another hour and a half while they dealt with each person's complaint. I got up to the counter and I didn't really even know what to say or do. The clerk explained that the flight timed out. I later learned that they just didn't staff a pilot to fly the plane.
Nice.
The delays were them trying to find one.
I do recall this was like a time where like not many pilots in the industry. Yeah. I think it's getting better now, but like the pilot industry was pretty
So you're telling me
rough.
I could become a pilot now?
If you want to be.
I just asked the woman how I was going to get home. She informed me that there was a flight going from Buffalo in the morning that she could book me and that the airline would provide a voucher for a local Holiday Inn. I had no problem with that. Called my wife to let her know what was going on. She was upset, but I calmed her down a bit. I headed down to catch the shuttle to the hotel. There were maybe 5 to 6 other people waiting as well. But other than that, the airport was deserted. It was probably 2:30 to 3 a.m. at this point. We waited about 20 minutes before someone decided to call the hotel. The hotel manager informed us that the shuttles had stopped running. He would see if he could figure something out. But a couple of minutes later, a days in shuttle pulls up. Our luck, right? He drives us to the hotel.
Oh.
All pile out and head to the lobby. The first person hands the clerk the voucher from the airline and he examines it. He informs us that the vouchers are for the Holiday Inn Express, which is a hotel across town, and confirms that it was not him or that hotel that had previously called. We didn't know what to do. Pick it from a room here? Luckily, the shuttle driver volunteered to drive us over there.
These are some good Samaritans. Like yeah, these people like, hey, this is not your fault. Like this is nothing, but we'll help you out kind of thing.
On the ride there, the driver is going on about how he was already supposed to have ended his shift. He stops at a fairly deserted street and tells us we should really pay him for what's going out of his way to get us to the other hotel.
Never mind. I say, well, I mean, I think a tip is nice. I think a tip would be nice to this guy, especially since it's the holiday season. If this guy's expecting to be paid for this when he's like, yeah, I'll do it. That's a little.
There was an older couple, the ones who called the hotel inn in the first place, who looked a bit shaken by this. They immediately paid the man. I didn't see how much, but there was at least a 20 in there. I was exhausted by this point. Not wanting a conflict, I gave the guy my last $6. The driver seemed more pleased and started to the hotel. We arrived there, handed over our vouchers, and headed to our rooms.
This is also in Philly. He was like, yeah, I'm just gonna let you guys out here.
By the airport, though, isn't really like.
Mm.
I know where they're talking, and it's just kind of like low key. It's out over the bridge is already out of Philly.
I passed out shortly after 4 a.m. The morning shuttle was leaving at 9 a.m., so I didn't get much sleep. I showered and headed out about 8:45. The shuttle arrived on time and headed back to the airport. I went up to the front ticket booth, explained the story, handed them the ticket that the woman from the previous night issued to me. The clerk looked a bit confused. Sir, there is no flight to Buffalo this morning.
At this point, I'm just like, someone take me home.
Someone take me home. You're driving me home. Let's get a rental. Let's go. At this point, pure panic set in. I asked when the next flight I could be on was leaving. She confirmed there was no available flights to either Rochester, Buffalo, or Syracuse. She suggested waiting on standby to try and catch a seat of someone who didn't show up. I called my wife to inform her she was beyond consolable at this point.
Maybe we figure out the solutions before we call our wife again. Maybe we work on it for like more than the talking to the desk.
Yeah, right.
You're giving her a roller coaster of emotions of like, I can't figure it out. Figured it out. I can't figure it out. Figured it out.
I waited around the airport pretty much all day waiting to see if I could catch a standby seat. I had no luck though. At around 8 p.m. that night, I got the call, the one that would save me from his misery. My phone was almost passed away, and I didn't even check the caller ID when I answered. It was my buddy Kevin. Hey man, your fiance called me today. Oh yeah? Yeah, she says you're stranded in the Philly airport. Yeah, I probably will not make it home for Christmas or the wedding. Nah man, I'll come get you. What? Yeah, how far is Philly from here? I don't know, 5 hours maybe? All right, I'll be there in a bit. He arrived just after 1 a.m. with my fiance, who ran up and hugged me. I slept for most of the car ride home. Dude, that's how we do it! That's how we freaking do it!
That's what we said.
Holy cow.
It does suck. It does suck, but if there's a will, especially if it's like a state over, there's a way.
Yeah, that's just 5 hours.
Was renting a car never on the table?
I guess not. It's like going to Vegas and back.
Yeah, literally.
If
there's
you were
a will,
stranded in
there's a way.
Vegas, I would come get you.
Right, exactly. Or even Tucson, like, or San Francisco. It's an 8-hour drive, but I'd do it. I'd be like, hey, you owe me one, but like,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Did you ruin my weekend? No, I get to travel to San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, we stayed there for a little bit, but it's for a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if it's this close over, like a state over. It does suck. It does really suck, especially with everything. But golden friend, yeah, you owe that man a steak dinner and maybe a couple steak dinners.
Yeah.
If it was a country over,
Well, I would do it too. If it was for my friend and their wedding was in a couple of days.
I mean, Mexico is one thing. Like Mexico or Canada, one thing. But say if I was like stranded in Spain.
Well, what are you can't drive there. What are you going to do for him?
I want Riley to get on a boat,
Charter a boat.
sail the
Yeah,
oceans.
That'll work.
Sail the oceans blue, pick me up on said boat, take me back.
I'll do it. It'll take 2 weeks, but as long as we live stream everything, I'm on my way, Keon.
Cool, get a
You're
yacht.
producing on the way back.
Sweet. This is Keon and Riley. We're on a yacht.
Yo, what's up?
We're pirates now.
Username says, all right, this is my time to shine. So my colleague and I were finishing up a marathon week of conferences in California, split between Monterey and Anaheim and Hanahan. And we had some sightseeing in between conferences, which included going into Mexico, purchasing a few bottles of tequila. On our flight back to Canada was, to my surprise, not with Air Canada, but with United.
Oh, I've heard some fun stories with the good old UA.
We show up 2 hours early for the flight, go to check in, and the United attendant asks us if there are any glass bottles in our checked bags. Very specific. What the F? I've never been asked that before, and I fly out a lot. Caught off guard, we both say that we have a bottle of tequila in our bags. The attendant makes us remove them and show her how they're packed. Besides, they aren't packed properly and tells us we can either pack them in foam and plastic wrap or mail them. We ask her where to get the foam and wrap. Oh, we don't have that here. It's at the post office, and the post office is closed. Well, F. Now we can't check our bags with the tequila, and we can't mail it either. Starting to see that it might be a ruse to get our booze, we asked if we can go and dump the booze out in a bathroom and then put the bottle into the garbage. We were then told no uncertain terms that if we left the counter to do so, she would have us picked up by security and have us barred from our flight.
I've never, okay, interesting.
F,
Rules are rules.
we relented and let her take our bottles, checked our bags, and go wait for our flights. 2 hours later, time to board our flight, and we were notified that our flight is late. About an hour later, we were told that our flight needs maintenance. It's about 9 p.m. Now, 2 to 3 hours later, we were informed that our plane broke its landing gear and they were sending another plane to take over our flight from the other side of the airport. An hour after that, we were informed that our flight is now delayed until noon the following day. What?
Yes.
I forgot to mention earlier that my colleague had just put an offer in on a house and had to be back by 11 p.m. the next day to sign, or his new house would go to someone else.
Why do we do things so close? I mean, I get it. It does happen. But I think you always need like a good little like bumper space to like situate yourself of like relaxing. I know like it's like you're busy and this is not supposed to happen. But things like this do happen. It does suck.
Off to the United desk we go. We arrive at the desk and ask if we can get another flight out, even if it has more connections, and are informed that there are none available and the best they can do with United is the fly the next day at noon. They offer us one voucher for a discount at the airport hotel. After this, we start complaining to the point where the guy at the desk referred us to his manager. Turns out this was the best thing that they could have done for us, as the manager was very helpful and was able to get us on an Air Canada flight at 6 a.m., which would land us home in time for my colleague to close on his house.
Whew.
Yes.
Whew.
Freaking awesome manager.
Shout out to that manager.
Oh my gosh. Now it's the middle of the night at LAX.
My favorite place to be.
This makes sense.
Like I said.
Which I figured would be pretty much open all night, but I was wrong. We recovered our luggage and went from terminal to terminal looking for some place to eat and finding out nothing was open. We finally resigned to ourselves to sitting at a small eatery type place and waiting for our flight. When 6 a.m. rolled around, it was a huge relief to board an Air Canada flight back home. It was, however, not a huge relief when we sat down and realized that if we had been booked with Air Canada for our return flight originally, like we would have made it home with our booze. The flight home was uneventful and we made all of our connecting flights without incident.
Read that TLDR.
TLDR, United Airlines attendant at LAX drank my tequila. In reply, as you handed her the bottles, you should have opened them up and split.
I was thinking that too. I was like, you should have opened it up, taken a shot, switched it around a little, spit it back in.
No, you know what I would have done? I would have been extremely petty. I think someone said it too. I would have been like, oh, okay. Clink, gulp, 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 gulp.
Can't drink all.
People can. Would
People
I?
can?
No, I can't. I know people who can. I've met people who do that, and I look at them, jaw dropped to the floor, and I say, that looks like it's going to hurt later. But you know what? That was pretty cool. I'll give you props. I can't do that.
But guys, that's the end of our crazy nightmare stories from the airport. If you have any, please put them down in the comments. We'll read them. We love reading these. If you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow. Hey, don't leave yet. I know you got more chores, and we got more stories. So stick around.
I practically raised my stepdaughter, but now she can't stand me.
So sit.
You got it. You took it right out of my mouth.
Oh, story over. I, 45 female, have been with my husband for 15 years, married for 13. His daughter started living with us part-time, and I basically raised her and spent as much time with her as her biological mother. By the way, this comes from user Folk Imperialism. And you can submit your stories on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, my husband and I had conversations where he convinced me not to have kids on our own, as I should consider his daughter as mine. And I was happy to, because I started loving this girl immediately. I also liked the, quote, every other week parent's role, as it gave me an opportunity to be a good parent when she was here, and also arranging my workload and business travels when she was not with us. The first 5 or 6 years together were a blessing. I loved spending time with her, teaching her things, brushing her hair, watching movies together. As cooking is my love language, I would always plan the best meals for her and her dad, and we'd cook together. And as I'm quite a school nerd, I was the one to take care of all of her homework. Oh, don't do that. Let the child do its homework.
Let the AI do the homework.
And as I'm quite a school nerd, I was the one to take care of all her homework. My husband would drive her to school in the morning, and I would get her out, make dinner, do homework, and then go back to my computer to continue working. It really sounds like she's doing the homework for this kid, and I think that's not smart. On weekends, I'd arrange for family activities, go shopping with her, and always push my husband and his daughter to have some quality one-on-one time. I'd take her from time to time to my charity activities or bring her to work when exceptionally the sitter was on sick leave. Husband and I shared costs equally at home. Also, my parents that we visited during vacation loved her and would spoil her as their own granddaughter. She loved them back and even learned some Spanish, as my parents live in a Spanish-speaking country. I really thought we had a great relationship. When she hit 13, her whole demeanor changed, and little by little, as she really became a very mean and rude teenager, I took some distances, and my husband hired someone to take care of the homework, as I did not want to add that extra tension between us. I still did my best to be a good parent, but still serious about her education and values. It was never too bad, but she would randomly say hurtful things for no reason, like, you know you'll never be my mom, right?
Ouch.
To which I would answer, I know, but do you know that I will still always consider you and love you as my child? Ooh, nice response though. That's a sweet baby response.
Love that.
She would also regularly talk back, criticize almost everything I would say or do, ignore me, and slam doors. Sounds like a teenager. During these years, I felt bullied in my own home, but tried to focus on something else, as we also had once or twice a year some good moments where she would come to tell me about a boy she liked, ask me advice on choosing clothes, etc. What hurt me the most is that she completely erased from her memory anything that we had before. Do you remember that time we went to this museum? Do you remember when we saw dolphins on our boat trip? No, nothing. She says she doesn't recall any of the things we did together. I even once told her that her Spanish accent was really great and that I was happy she got to learn it with locals at a young age, but she totally dismissed it. I never learned Spanish with you. I only learned it in school.
She's just lying to get your goat. She's not She doesn't not remember it. She's just being petty.
Yeah, she's being a teenager.
She's being a teenager.
She's being a
Like-
mean teenager.
It happens.
Dang. Regardless, all these years I kept making sure to cook her favorite meals, choosing nice gifts I knew she'd like, redecorating her room to her taste, driving her where she needed to go when her father couldn't. At 18 years old, she had a big fight with her father. I was in another room and I heard her screaming how much she hated me and how much I basically ruined everything and took any joy from her life. Her father kept asking, "What has she done to you?" But she
Great
had
question.
no answer. Yeah. Well, she did all my homework and she always cooks and she cleans my room and she also does the feng shui.
But like when she like drives me everywhere that I need to go, like when you can't do it, she like uses the turn signal and it's like annoying me or something.
She's like so cringe, dude. Like
It's like cringe.
for real. I just can't stand it. She's cringe.
Yeah.
Ugh. Hearing that shattered my heart into pieces. My whole body was aching like I had been hit by a ton of bricks. Hearing her words, I felt the most pain I've ever experienced in my whole life.
Aw.
When my husband found me after she left, I was on the floor crying like a baby. For 2 days, I couldn't leave my bed, literally. After that, I suggested to my husband we should separate at least for some time because I didn't feel like I belonged in this family. Dude, this girl's destroying you. He refused this, but he promised to go see a therapist for the two of them. After that, my daughter-in-law decided to live full-time with her mother. Husband and his daughter went to family therapy, and she never explained the reason why she hated me so much. The only thing my husband reported back is that she felt I was trying to replace her real mother. On my side, I also went to therapy because that day broke me for good. I really felt like my whole life was a lie. My therapist helped me go through a mourning process trying to accept my own choices and live with the fact that I had no child. Wow. I mean, yeah,
Whoa.
that's a lot to analyze, but it's like, hey, you're doing the hard work because it's true. It's like that's actually not your kid.
Yeah, and
Right,
like
and-
if she accepts that, it's like it's literally like we said, mourning. But it's like, okay, on the other side of that, at least you don't, because right now she's constantly getting disappointed.
Yeah.
At least you won't have this constant disappointment just thrown in your face every single second of every
Yeah,
single day.
you can temper your expectations.
What is I'm curious on the parents here. Where is the line where it's like from terrible teenager to just you're a terrible person? You know what I mean? Like when
I think
What's
around
the
16,
difference?
around 16, 17 is when like the line between like, all right, you're just trouble to like, all right, you're
Trouble.
going to be in trouble if you don't change.
Because like I could, to a degree, I could be like, okay, this kid probably, she wants her mom and dad together. You know, she just wants like the old parents back. But the lengths and how far this kid is going is evil.
Well, it sounds like the fight with her
Insidious.
dad. It's like she didn't say any of that. I mean, it was loud enough for her to hear, but it's not like she screamed it at the stepmom.
That is true.
But at the same
But
time,
she
it's
treats her
still,
like
it's
crap.
like she said it. She
Yeah.
said it regardless.
Yeah.
So since then, she comes over for dinner with us once or twice a month on her own. She also once reached out to me to ask for help with her university work. She stayed with us 2 weeks so I could help and review the end-year project she was working on. Her relationship with her father improved a lot these past years, and now they are very close. I'm very happy about this, and I will always find a way to give them time to be just the two of them when she visits. As they are having a good quality time together, my husband now wants me to spend more time with her and is now frustrated that I do not want to. What my husband doesn't see is that my situation with his daughter never improved. As we did not live together, there are no more fights, but I still know how much she hates me. To give you some examples, just last Thanksgiving, while we were all at my in-laws, my stepdaughter would never talk to me, roll her eyes literally every time I speak,
Ugh.
refuse to say good morning to me. If I insist, she would always answer, "Oh, I didn't hear you." Exactly like she did as a teenager. Refuse to touch anything I would touch first and would not let me even set the table, or at least not her plate or glass. What is this? If my husband's family is nice to me or congratulates me for my work achievements or my cooking, she would always become very silent, look annoyed, or even leave the room. She makes snarky comments and mocks me every occasion she has, always small things that could easily pass as, "Oh, it's just a joke." Just a joke. She refuses to eat anything I cook, saying it's not to her taste, even if I sometimes spot her discreetly eating it later. So, what happened? When did she decide to hold the most petty, potential? When did she decide she hates you?
I think when she literally wasn't her mom. Like, I feel like it was from the jump of like, okay, my parents are separated. I want my real mom. I want my mom and dad together.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to hate you. I'm going to try to hate you out of you existing as a stepmom figure.
Yeah. So the 13-year-old brain hit and it said, "Bzz, that's not your mom." She's
It locked in.
Do you think like a friend or like, because when it like comes to like being a teenager,
could be
like
13.
yeah, like friends kind of like start putting that nonsense in your head.
Yeah, and she's not 13 anymore. Now she's 18.
Can we be honest? When we were, the three of us were teenagers and then the people we knew, right? I feel like the vast majority of people I knew as a teenager from 13 to 18 would not behave like this. Not some people, you got your wackos, but I feel like I feel like a person who isn't actually a angry, bitter person at heart. Like I don't think it's just like a phase.
I think they just are going through a lot. You got the separation.
It's true.
Like everybody's different, and it's like I know a lot of teenagers who went through a lot of crazy insanity. It's like I'll be like, Euphoria is such a dumb show because it's not realistic, and then I'll think of some people I knew growing up, and I'm like, wait a minute, it kind of is, which is bad. It's really bad, and I fear for all of the children. Although my husband saw how my mental health suffered from this episode a few years ago, he doesn't seem to understand why I don't want to spend more time with his daughter. He never sees all the attitudes I see, and he says it's just me overanalyzing everything, but I know I'm not. And I am really at a point where I don't know what to do and how to make him understand. Here is some additional info. I want to thank you all for the support and even the harsh words about my responsibility. I realized that in my post, I only focused on me and did not tell you enough about my husband and the bio mom. First, I will answer a question that came up in the comments. My husband and his ex were separated before we met. He had a few girlfriends, but I was the first serious one and the only one he introduced to his daughter. Second question I saw in the comments. Yes, we also went to family therapy, the three of us, sometimes when she was 14, but my stepdaughter would be very silent when I was there, or she would cry, which was extremely painful to watch. That is where we were advised it would be better to go without me. Up till now, I have never received any explanation on the why she hates me. The only thing, as I said before, was me trying too hard to replace her mom. I never felt I was doing that, but I certainly was trying to be a good parent. I also feel I need to clarify a few things, as a lot of people here were mad at my husband. And I need to tell you, he is a good person, but he's not perfect, because who is? My husband is not really the caring kind. He's unable to plan anything for others if he's not reminded to do so, but he has many other good sides.
This is the classic, like, look, my husband is a great guy, but he's terrible at this, terrible at this, terrible at that, and terrible at that, but he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's like,
that's what it's giving.
My husband's great. He literally can't think of another person besides himself, but there's sides to him that are great.
There's good in him.
Yeah, like his left side is really his best side. He is very generous with his money to everyone, his family and friends. Oh, so he's a showboat. He's trustworthy. No, he's not. And he is the funniest person I know. I bet. He lights up a room when he enters. Oh, what's that? The darkness is here. Oh, sorry. I'll stop being contrarian.
He turns off the lights so he can be.
Yeah. Also, my husband did take care of his daughter on certain aspects. I could not, as I had no legal rights to her. Like, he would attend all the teachers' meetings with her mother, and he would also take care of all things that relate to healthcare. My husband is grateful for everything I did, and he always acknowledges how he would have never been able to raise his daughter if it were not for me doing the biggest part. Also, during the teenage years, he always had my back when we had words with my stepdaughter. And that is also the reason why, I guess, his daughter was mean to both of us, accusing us of siding against her. And these fights we had, it was never big, always just stupid teenage things. The main topic was me asking her for respect to me and to the house rules, like not insulting me, screaming at me, throwing a tantrum because of little chores like emptying the dishwasher or cleaning her room, or having a curfew when she went out to a party. Regarding not having kids of my own, that is probably the hardest part. And I have to admit that I have some anger towards my husband about this, especially as I terminated 2 pregnancies early in our marriage. Both pregnancies happened when I was on birth control. However, this is a topic I worked on with my therapist, and I have to accept that I'm the one responsible for my choices. I was an adult, and I should have fought more for it if I wanted it. I need to own my mistakes, although at the time, I was under the illusion I already had a daughter, and I did love her from the bottom of my heart. Dang, that is, oh my God.
Like, it sounds like early in the relationship, she was on birth control, and he was like, hey, not ready yet. Like, don't want to have the baby now. And she's like, well, at least I have stepdaughter. That is my daughter.
Right. It's like, well, I feel like she's my daughter.
But nope.
And then she grows up and goes, you're literally not my mom. Shut up. You are cringe.
And I guess she can't have children now? I guess she's too old or something?
I would assume, like, yeah, that's probably where it's at.
This is awful.
Regarding the biological mother, yes, she might have or probably spoke ill about me, but I absolutely have no proof of that. I always kept a cordial relationship with her. We would meet quite regularly when she came to pick up our girl, and I would always invite her for a coffee and a piece of cake. If her daughter was with us when it was Mother's Day or when it was her birthday, I'd always buy her a bouquet of flowers, and my husband would take his daughter to spend some time with her mom. Once, I remember my stepdaughter was with me the whole week as my husband was on a business trip, and the bio mom told me she was by her own, so I cooked a nice meal, invited her over to our place, and I went to buy her a gift with my stepdaughter. She brought the cake, and we had a nice, slightly awkward, but overall nice time. Just the three of us. The only incident I can recall is her once asking me, "Can you please stop making homemade meals as my daughters keep comparing our food and now refuses to eat my frozen dinners?"
Oh, so she was sticking her nose up
Dude.
and being like, oh, every time someone compliments her food or was like talking about her food. And she literally won't even eat what you make her because her food was that good.
Yeah, I mean,
Dude.
I laughed it up politely like it was a compliment, and it ended there. I also remember pushing my husband for some medical consultation when I thought my stepdaughter needed to see an orthopedic surgeon or a dentist or a child psychologist. I know my husband and his ex had words about that, as she did not agree. I ended up being right about the need I suspected each time, which might have upset her, but these are very insignificant moments over a 15-year time period. I might also add that the bio mom never had a serious boyfriend after she split up with my husband. She doesn't have many close people around her, and her whole life revolves around her daughter, and I know for sure she loves her more than life, which is why it's hard for me to think she would sabotage our relationship, as it would be counterproductive for her daughter. Because despite everything, I really think I was a good, caring parent, and I have been a great academic support to her daughter through the years. One last thing I would like to add. All these years, and even now, sometimes my stepdaughter would be very nice to me. It would last a few minutes. We would talk about science as she's interested in this topic, or I would share experience about my charity work, or she would need help with something like fixing her dress and would ask nicely and thank me afterward. But every time that would happen, she would always immediately be even meaner right after. It is really weird, like if she forgot to be rude to me for a second and then just remembered that she has to and proceeded to overcorrect her attitude. I have no explanation for this. It's either that or she's like mind gaming you. She's either like literally forgetting that she's supposed to be rude, or she's like, oh, this will really throw her for a loop.
Yeah, I kind of don't. I low-key don't trust her.
I wouldn't. The problem now is that my husband wants us to all be united. He wants us to be all together in these big family events as a perfect family picture. I asked him after Thanksgiving if he noticed how his daughter treated me during that week, and he was totally oblivious of it. He loves his daughter, and I love the fact that he does, but I am done loving her. I have no hate in my heart. I really went through a grieving process to get myself out of a severe depression, and playing a new role is just now impossible for me. I just don't want to be bullied or feel uncomfortable, and I do not want to be forced to spend time with someone who so obviously despises everything about me. And we have an update. Your thoughts, John, before we get into the update? Or
I mean, just what a process OP has had to go through and how fair she is. Like, I mean, I would understand if she was like, it's not right to be mad at a child, but I'm kind of hurt, but she's like, I don't love her because, again, like, I think it's the process of like, if I see her as a daughter, I will constantly be disappointed. So I can't love her as a daughter. Like, I literally have to like view her as this like other separate entity to be able to just like live my life and not constantly be
to have
sad.
This semblance of good mental health, because that was definitely a big point in her life.
Dude,
wanting a kid.
Huge. And yeah, just so many red flags about the husband. And I think the thing about him being oblivious, yes, sometimes people truly are just like ignorant and oblivious to something, but they've had so many therapy sessions and everything else. I don't think he can play the ignorance card anymore. I think if he was being an active partner, he would be like, okay, maybe I'm not naturally observant. I need to lean in to make sure I'm noticing whenever these moments happen. Right. So I don't think he can play that card anymore.
Yeah, it is true.
He lost it.
It is true. He should know. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I took a few days to reflect on all your comments and decided to have a serious conversation with my husband.
Oh.
I know many of you wanted me to ditch him or blame him for robbing me from having my own kids, and I somehow do, but I also have to acknowledge my responsibility for that. It's my fault to not have stood up for myself in that moment and took the easy road of letting someone else decide for me. Our marriage is not perfect, but I still love him and wanted to find a way we could continue living together without having to add the extra stress his daughter Mia brings. This is how it went. We need to have a serious conversation. Do you remember when we came back from Thanksgiving and when I asked you if you noticed Mia's attitude towards me and you said no? No. What do you mean, no? You did not ask me if I noticed her attitude. You asked me if I noticed how much she hated you.
Brother.
What's the difference? Well, I did notice a few things, but it doesn't mean she hates you. It's complicated. Listen, I'm done playing with words. I need you to be honest with me. What have you noticed? Well, I saw that she was mean with you. She had tough words. And she would act very weird around food you cooked or touched that I saw. And I saw her rolling her eyes whenever you talked. That was such a relief to hear him say these words. Finally, someone else saw it, and I'm not crazy. I told him about all the other things and forced him to listen and understand. Also found out that even my mother-in-law noticed Mia's demeanor. She mentioned it to my husband. Somehow, that is reassuring because I often question what part I'm seeing is paranoia or interpretation rather than reality. And it turned out I also missed a few things myself. And because I kept our interaction to the minimum during that week, I didn't notice that Mia was acting weird towards my husband as well. And by the way, you know what would be so weird?
What?
It would be so weird if I'm talking to you, did not find full episodes with stories like this that you can listen to at your pleasure. All you have to do is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts and search up OK Storytime, and there you will find the archives, and they are complete, and you may peruse them.
That would be freaky.
Yeah. So you had some words to add.
So before I was like, oh, he can't play the ignorant card. He knows, but isn't taking it seriously, which is worse. He knows what's going on, but refuses to. He's like, oh, yeah, she just like rolls her eyes every time you breathe and like hates on your food, then runs away and eats it in the bathroom because she loves it. And like, da-da-da-da. It's like, bro, do you not see? You literally know what's going on, but you're not confronting it because you don't want to like truly acknowledge OP's feelings and like truly deal with what is happening here.
True. So here is the end of the story. My husband then confessed that the 3 first days were amazing. I did see them talking together, joking around, listening to music, and running errands, but the last 3 days were very difficult, and his daughter barely talked to him and was in her room most of the time. At this point, I asked him if he has any clue why we are here, and if he thought maybe Mia was depressed, which might explain the changing mood. My husband's best guess is that Mia's biomom has probably called her and poisoned her mind, which led her to be moody, but this is just a guess. Well, to cut it short, I still don't know why my stepdaughter hates me. My husband acknowledged that he needs to quit pushing me to spend time with her, and he promised he won't do it anymore, even if that means I won't be attending some of the family events. Also, he will talk to his daughter and try to understand what the problem is, although that is no longer my problem, but his to handle. And I think that's good, realizing that, hey, you got to take your horse out of the race here. There's nothing you can do.
Agreed.
Thanks again for the support and for helping me stand my ground. And that
Stand your ground
is the end of that story.
That's the end. Dude.
Sometimes, man, it's the minds of others. They are an enigma.
Poor freaking OP. Like, what a soldier. That's all I'm going to say. What a soldier.
Truly.
Like,
that was years and years of OP's life in that story. Like,
and I felt like she didn't unfairly like take. She was like very empathetic for everyone else, despite her just going through so much.
Yeah. She really made it less about, it was really all about the child. It was all about the kid.
Yeah.
She's like, I just want the kid to be good. I wish we were good.
Yep.
I just want her to be good. She's not my daughter. She's not my kid. I wish she was. There's still time, though. Still a lot of life left.
It's definitely a maturity thing, and hopefully she realizes maybe, I was a little bit of a brat and a disgusting kid and can make amends, but that's just down the line, and you just gotta give it some time.
Leave it up to hope.
My wife didn't come home last night. Now my worst fears are confirmed.
Oh, my
My wife didn't come home last night. She went out with a couple of girlfriends, which is pretty normal for her. She's normally back around 2 a.m. on these nights, so I waited up. By the way, this comes from Throw Off My Chest 234 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Throw off my chest.
Throw it off. So around 2:30, I called to check in. She answered, and I could hear people in the background. She told me they went to a party, but were leaving in a couple of minutes. She wasn't home by 3, so I texted. It delivered, but no reply.
Intriguing.
Around 4 a.m., I called a couple of times before she sent me to voicemail. My wife finally came stumbling through the door at 6:47 a.m. this morning. I know the exact time because I was worried. She was wearing a dress.
I know the exact time because I was worried.
If your wife came home at 6:47, you'd kind of be like, what's up? And has been ghosted all night.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, it's the morning.
So what's good? She was wearing a dress that she didn't leave the house in with mesh leggings I've never seen either. The leggings had clearly been torn and her makeup was smudged. My heart sank when I saw her. My immediate worry was that she had been attacked. She had only shook her head no when I asked her that. I asked her what she had been doing then. She only said that I knew what she had been doing, and that kind of confirmed what the voice in the back of my head had been screaming since she walked in. My wife cheated on me last night.
Ooh.
I asked her who it was. She shrugged almost casually and said it was somebody they met at the club. So she's just like,
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
In the
He's like-
club, we're all fam.
She said, what?
I'm up in the club.
In the club, we're all fam.
Up in the club.
In the club, we're all family.
She went back to his house, hooked up with him, and then Ubered home. She then said she didn't want to fight and just wanted to sleep.
Damn.
So that's what she did.
Wow. Girl gives no F's
She-
whatsoever.
She gets everything she wants. She's still
Wow.
asleep now and didn't even take a shower before passing out. Suffice to say, our relationship is over. We don't have any kids and we rent, so it shouldn't be an extremely complicated process.
That's good.
I'm trying to reason myself out of it, pretending there might be something to salvage here. I've always maintained that cheating would be a red line for me, though. I think I need to stick to that now.
Oh, yeah, buddy. You 100% you need to stick to that. What?
Well, we got some other relevant comments from XJV413, who says, you keep trying to reason yourself out of it because this just happened and you're still in shock. The feeling of betrayal is still going to be there when the shock fades, so don't let yourself humor her now. Also, just to be 100% safe, I'd recommend a STI screening. This might not be the first time she's done something of this nature.
Ooh, oh, dang. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess honestly, if that's how she reacted when she walked in, she just goes, you already know what it is. It's like, yeah, she might have been doing that for a minute.
Who cares? I don't care about you.
Damn.
I don't care about this. But I'm going to sleep. I don't care. Opie says, I really don't think she's done this multiple times. Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that?
If she had, she'd likely have come home and told me right away anyways. She's always been the type of person who can't keep things bottled up inside. Apparently not. I will get tested though. It can't hurt, though I'm a little scared of needles. And there is an update. Me again, folks. Sorry I didn't get around to doing this sooner. I wasn't able to get a day off work yesterday because my boss kind of sucked. I was a complete mess at work yesterday, though, so I was allowed to take the rest of the week as a vacation, thankfully. They're like, yeah, bro.
Wait, but your boss doesn't then. Your boss gave you a whole week off.
Actually, yeah, that's pretty good.
What are you
low-key.
talking about?
Yeah, I feel like he came in and he was like, hey, what's up? He's like, yeah, my wife just came in at like 7 a.m. and just like, yeah, I just cheated on you, but I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to sleep. And he's probably like, take some time.
He's like, yeah, so I'm going to need those reports actually double time now. I'm actually
Yeah.
going to need you to work twice as fast.
Let's hunker down. I think I went through all of the stages of grief while my soon-to-be ex was sleeping. Wow. I wasn't expecting my post to get any attention at all. I just figured I needed to try to talk to someone about it because not in a good headspace. I made the post in the morning, and by noon, she was still conked out in the bedroom. I had processed things a bit more, and I had a rough plan in my head that I was starting to set in motion. I made a short list of questions I wanted answers to, gathered up all my important documents, laptop, etc. Then I went into the bedroom and started packing myself a suitcase. I know a lot of folks wanted me to kick her out. I did consider it, but honestly, I'm not overly attached to this place. We just rent, and I'm in a lucky enough situation to be able to say that paying half the rent for a few months isn't going to financially end me.
That's good.
It'll sting a little bit. I won't lie, but I'll make it, and I feel like being around this place is only going to remind me of her anyways. So I need to be looking forward and not back. She ended up walking about halfway through me packing up my suitcase. There was a momentary confusion as she looked around the room, and then she just started bawling. What do you expect?
I don't know. Okay, we're going to get to the bottom of this soon.
We will.
For sure.
Or maybe it was...
I'm just worried like something did happen to her and she doesn't know or something, or like I don't know
Totally
what's
could
about
be.
to happen.
Totally could be. Totally
But
could
just
be.
looking around in confusion and then crying like does not sound good to me.
Yep.
But,
Totally could be.
well, let's keep going.
let's keep going.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong and she's just a terrible person.
We shall see. We hope that she's terrible. I told her I had the screenshots of her Uber and text messages from her phone, and that plus her confirmation was enough that things between us were completely done. She didn't answer me and just cried louder. I debated trying to continue the conversation, but I decided to just pack the rest of my suitcase and head back out to the living room until she came out. When she finally left the bedroom, she sat next to me on the couch and asked if we could talk things through. I told her as calmly as possible that wasn't how things were going to work. I was going to ask questions. I wanted honest answers. She told me she'd be honest, so I proceeded. My voice was shaking the entire time. It was taking me everything to hold it together, but I kept going. Was this the first time she had cheated? She started crying before she answered that. She told me no.
Oh!
Not the first time.
She's just trash. Hey, everybody pack it up. She's just trash.
Yeah.
Woo!
But bro, this is maybe the most honest cheater we have seen in the history of this show, because my God, she's just like coming out with it.
Well, how
immediately.
wasted must she have been to just walk through the front door and be like, you already know what it is. I've been doing it forever. Look at me.
Look at me.
Does this look like your girlfriend or someone else's? Hey, I'm going to bed.
She had cheated on me multiple times over the course of our relationship. It was, and I'm going to use her words exactly here, just hooking up a way for me to let off some steam. None of it ever meant anything.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. You don't get to decide that.
Ooh, true. I wrote a comment shortly after making my post that all the love couldn't just fade away in one swoop. Well, it can. It hit me right then, and that I wasn't dealing with my wife. The person I was married to literally wasn't in the room. This was someone different. She refused to tell me exactly how many times she had cheated, just more than last night.
Yikes, dude, that makes it sound like she doesn't even know. She's like, between 10 and 15? I don't know.
The next question was, has she used protection? She responded, no. Hesitation from her.
Who is this demon?
Oh.
Before she nodded her head emphatically.
You little cheeky guy over here. She said, no hesitation, and then shook her head. No, we use protection.
I did use protection.
But do we believe her? I'm sure she's been lying this entire time.
She could be. I mean, honestly, she has been seemingly pretty forthright.
Because she got caught.
Yeah,
You gotta-
but like she didn't even.
You got to
she
get
didn't
the
even-
test, bro.
she
You
didn't
can't
even
trust
try.
her.
Oh yeah, still
Can't trust her.
1,000% get the test.
Can't trust her.
No, like even before all of this, get the test for sure. But
There's no
anyways,
idea.
So no hesitation from her before she nodded her head emphatically that she did use protection. She seemed surprised I'd even asked that. I'm still going to get tested just to be safe. I did some research into timing, and I'm going to look after it. Were her friends also cheating on their spouses? Yes and
Ooh,
no.
That's actually a really good. I wouldn't have even thought about that. That's a good question.
Yeah, because they have their little circle and they're
Yeah,
like, they'll
that's a-
protect each
hey,
other.
That's a
Hey.
good question. I would want to know if I was being cheated on. I am not the weekend.
Right.
I would like to know if you're playing me. Do not keep it on the low. Let me know.
I hear you. I tried to get her to tell me which of her friends were cheating so I could get in contact with their spouses. She probably should have, because her refusal led me to messaging pretty much the romantic partner of every one of her girlfriends I could find on social media. There are a couple I don't know or couldn't find, but I did my part. Why did she do it? This was the answer that gutted me the most. I'm going to use her exact words again. I need to have more spicy sleep variety.
What is that?
It means
It just means you want to sleep with other people.
it means variety.
But it's like you can get that without sleeping
No, she needs variety. I told her that it's not like our spicy sleep life is dull. She clarified, it's not the same as something new. That's not variety.
That's but I disagree.
Apparently-
you don't have to need. You don't need a new person to do new things within the context of the spice.
She says I must sleep with other people. I must. That's what she
Then
says.
just say that.
Well, I
Just
mean-
say it.
I mean, she did. Oh, she said variety.
Yeah, she's trying to be like, well, no, it's not that. It's just say it. That's
It's
what it
romantic.
is.
It's romantically entangled. It's the equivalent. It's the equivalent. It's the
He's in
equivalent.
an entanglement.
Ooh. I didn't even have a response to that one. I had expected something about me working too much or not supporting her emotionally. Nope. She just effed other guys because she felt like it and wanted to have some fun. Girls just want to have fun, you know?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Ooh, ah.
When I didn't respond, she started asking me about counseling and therapy. I reiterated that our relationship was over. I'd be leaving. What she did next disgusted me. My ex actually tried to hook up with me. She put her hands on me and started taking off my clothes.
Ooh, girl, that's bad. That's a bad look.
Not the time. I felt like I wanted to vomit and pushed her away after a couple of seconds. She just kept trying to tell me that she would figure out a way to fix it, that we would work through it together. I told her that there was no way, and she started bawling again. She went to the bathroom and locked herself inside. I was sick of everything at that point. I called her mother and told her what was going on. The full story too, the cheating, the questions I had asked, and the fact that I was leaving. Wrong. I've always had a good relationship with my ex's parents. They both decided to drive to town, which is about an hour from them. Once I knew someone was on the way, I just grabbed my things. Her waterworks in the bathroom were just annoying me because it felt hollow to me, especially given the answers to my questions. I ended up packing another bag before I left. Just real quick, I feel like she's not crying for him or anything. I think she wanted the relationship life and the comfort of that, but also to be able to cheat and do whatever. She's like, I can't have my cake and eat it too.
Yeah, I think it's probably a lot coming down on her all at once, where it's just like, wow, I'm losing it all. Everything I thought I had literally a day ago is gone. Not living in the same place, not dating the same person. Now I can't cheat on my boyfriend because I don't have one.
Can't even cheat anymore. I ended up packing another bag before I left and took all the things that I could think of that felt sentimental or attached to with me. I found a parking lot.
That's a good idea.
True. Sat in my parking lot, and I was able to get in contact with a buddy for a place to crash. I tried to take a nap, but I was running on way too much adrenaline. I knew when her parents had made it to the apartment because she started calling me. When I didn't answer those, she started texting me. She had gone from sad and crying to furious. Apparently, I'm an effing piece of for telling her mom everything. Whoops. I'm not sorry.
Like your mom wasn't going to find out.
Dude, be mad at yourself.
I don't understand. When people cheat, it's like, and then they feel like, what? Why did you tell people? It's like,
ruined everything. It could all been perfect.
My God, what is that? What is that? Oh, it's the consequences of your actions. That's what that is.
I've received roughly 100 texts from her since leaving. They range from name calling all the way to begging me to come back, to sending me pictures of food she ate for some reason.
That is the full spectrum of text messages.
IG eats first, yeah.
Angry, remorseful, and hungry.
Ooh. I haven't responded to any of them. I feel like I said my piece before leaving. By the way, if you ever want to say your piece, or more importantly, you see this thing right here, hear your piece. We have full episodes, chock full of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, your favorite podcast app, search OK Storytime. The full episodes are there. You are welcome. Go right now. But Dakota, what are we thinking here as we approach the end of the story? What?
You are better off. Don't look back. Move forward. Do not look back. You are better off without this person in your life. They are going to learn the hard way that, this is what happens when the consequences of your actions catch up with you. That's really all it is. She did at least it wasn't like a long, hard process to get the truth out. It came out pretty quick, and then now you can just move forward. Don't worry about her. She'll be fine.
Live your
So will
life,
you.
brother.
You'll both be fine.
Live your life.
Better off without her.
Well, let's finish this.
Yeah,
story.
let's finish it off.
Finish
it.
We've got it. We've got it in the bag.
So that's where I'm at right now. We didn't have joint finances, so that part was easy. I canceled all the subscriptions that go to my credit card just to be sure, and changed all my important passwords. I'm crashing on a friend's couch for the next bit, but I've got some feelers out to some short-term rental places. And until I can find something more permanent, I've got feelers out for a divorce attorney too. A coworker of mine had a recommendation, so barring something better, I'll probably go with them. I also wanted to say that I was shocked how supportive everyone was, and thank you for that. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, it isn't easy for me to talk about emotional things with people close to me. This was an invaluable venting place for me, so thank you all so much. And you're welcome, Opie.
Onwards and upwards, Excelsior.
Onwards and mother flipping upwards, ladies and gentlemen.
You'll be all right.
You'll be all right. You're moving on. You're doing exactly what you should be doing, brother.